Welcome to Improv for the podcast. On this week's episode, we're joined by Tarrah Beebe, who will tell us all about her improvisational journey. We'll play a couple games, and most importantly, learn how she improved her life. Let's hit it. Welcome to Improv for the podcast. I'm your host, Michael Lee Evans, and today we are joined by the incredibly talented architect, coach of sports, fantastic improviser, Tarrah Beebe. Tarrah, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you doing?
I've never had an introduction like that.
Well, it is well deserved.
Thank you.
You have many credentials and accolades that deserve to be recognized.
Okay.
And multi-talented, I would say.
I try.
I think you succeed. I think you succeed. So Tarrah, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's really glad to have you here. For those of you longtime listeners, Tarrah joined us on our Camp Chat episode where she had some fantastic improv scenes. One where we were on a dating show.
We were.
And that was pretty exciting. I think you may have won. I'm pretty sure. I think you won in that game. I
forgot to put on my resume.
I know. Add that to the list of accolades. Winner of an improv game dating show.
Yes. If only it was real life.
If only it was real life. Yeah, I remember your character was it's a pretty intense kind of sad, somber, morose, I'd say, character.
Yes.
Yeah, but well acted. All right, Tarrah. So for our audience at home, if you could quickly tell us about your relationship with IFTP, how long you've been involved, what classes you've taken here.
I guess I would say I've been involved since the pre-COVID era.
The pre-COVID.
PCE.
Yeah, PC.
I took a break during COVID and have come back. Jumped around in different classes, but I would say overall maybe 5 years.
Okay. I love that. Like you separated, you're like the pre-COVID era. I'm part of that because I think I love talking to members who were around during that time because it's interesting because I'm a post-COVID person. So I like to hear like the story, like IFTP before the pandemic. The old theater,
The
right?
old theater, definitely haunted.
Ooh.
The seats were like, have you ever sat in like a vintage chair at an antique shop and you know someone sat in it 1,000 times?
Yes.
And it's just so comfortable, like leather, I think. I don't know, but amazing, tiny, antique haunted theater. Loved it.
Like that. Any unique smells?
Just that antique haunted theater smell.
Maybe a little musty or dusty. That kind of smell. I can picture it.
But it was cool. It was cool because it was like this little stage, and I was a recruit from my friend who was in IFTP, and so I saw a show at the theater, and then to come do classes at the theater was cool.
Yeah, so you're a convert.
Yes,
it worked.
It worked.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. Our current theater is much nicer. I haven't seen a single ghost and it smells really good.
Yeah.
So I'm a little sad of the lack of supernatural presence and history, like the stories each seat cushion could tell,
Totally.
It's important, but it'll get there one day. Time will pass and the Pico will be old as well.
That's right.
All right, Tarrah, before we get too deep into our interview, it's time to play some 3 things.
Okay.
So with 3 things, I'm going to give you a category related to your life, because it's personal. And you'll list just 3 things from that category. Then we'll move on to the next one.
Okay.
All right. Any questions before we begin?
No.
All right. So long as you know thyself, you'll be good to go. All right. These are 3 things. First category, things you only find in a small town.
Oh. The ability to bike
1.
through the whole town. Cumberland Farms.
2.
A mom and pop sandwich shop.
3. These are 3 things. Next category. Things architects do.
Therapize.
1.
Collaborate.
2.
Regulate.
3. These are 3 things. Last category. Favorite costumes you've worn.
Ooh, Moses.
1.
Dolly Parton.
2.
Betsy Ross.
3. These are 3 things. Well done, Tarrah. Okay, we got to circle back. So why did I ask you about things you only find in small towns?
I'm from a little beach town just south of Boston. It's called Hull, not Hell.
That's a distinct difference.
That joke was coming.
I don't think Hell would be a beach town. That sounds too lovely.
And people in California don't say it correctly. It's Hull.
Hull.
It's not Hull.
I can't. I don't know that I can. I don't have it in me.
There's all sorts of branded T-shirts. Go to Hull, that kind of stuff.
Amazing.
But yeah, I mean, and you don't expect a beach town in Massachusetts that's not on Cape Cod. But
Sure. Yeah.
I go back in the summers now and love it.
Oh, that's lovely. I spent a little bit of time on East Coast beaches, and I do say there's something special about them. That's just different than what we have out here.
Totally.
Mostly in like Maine and Connecticut.
And fun fact, the water is warmer there.
I know that. We get cheated over here because, the water comes up from the equator on the East Coast, whereas over here it comes down from the North Pole.
Yeah.
Like Pacific Ocean.
I can count on one hand the amount of times I've been in the water here.
Wow.
Yeah. But over there, I'll just put my chair in the water.
Yeah, because you just put your feet in, relax. Yeah. I mean, that sounds pretty nice.
And you don't get annihilated by waves.
Also true. It's a little calmer. Yeah, but maybe more rocky or...
It depends where you go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, West Coast beaches, they're nice, but there are other beaches that are great out there too. That's the misconception, I think.
Yes.
It's like, actually...
Totally. Yep.
But don't catch me saying that. Born and raised California, from San Diego, so I can't talk bad about our beaches. Okay, next category. You're an architect.
I am.
You said therapize. That was your first thing. Now, is that a part of your job or is that extracurricular?
They don't teach you in school. No, it's architecture is so much about collaborating and connecting people. And as architects, it's all this stuff they don't. In school, you talk about creativity and design. But after school, you realize that, me as the architect, I can't do the building without all of the design consultants, all of the engineers. And so my job is to know a little bit about what everybody does, enough about what everybody does to make this symphony, right? And along the way, it's, being able to get in people's heads and understand what they're prioritizing and what they're struggling with and get us all to be united. So
I like that a lot.
And clients are...
sure, a whole other issue.
Yeah, it's... my favorite clients are architects. But it's just, again, getting into their mind and really developing... seeing the project through the lens that they see the project through.
Yeah.
So.
That's very interesting. And it makes sense, I think, that your favorite clients would be architects because it's just, there's like a sort of collaborative nature there that I feel like maybe someone like me, if I were like, hello, architects, like we wouldn't be able to talk about it the same.
Yeah, they speak the language, they can read the drawings and that it's hard to look at a plan and see a 3D space, right?
Yes.
And when I was applying to architecture school, I applied to a school in New York that I won't say, and I had an interview as part of the application process. And he said, "Why do you want to be an architect?" And I said, "Well, I'm good at art and I like geometry." And he looked at me and he said, "Well, architecture is neither of those things." Like, what a mic drop. Yeah. I was just like, well, should I leave?
That's why you go to college, though. You find that out once you're there. Yeah.
Like, is the interview over? Like, did I fail? And I did fail because I didn't get in. But an interesting moment because he was absolutely right. It's about understanding space. So, yeah.
I was going to ask you a dumb follow-up question. I was going to say, are you good at drawing?
Am I good at math?
Yeah.
I'm horrible at math. I'm pretty good at drawing. I don't get to do it very often, but I enjoy it.
Yeah. I imagine a lot of the work, too, is probably now digital.
Yes.
Which is like back in the day, they had those drawing tables and, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Darn. I always liked on like TV shows, I think, was it maybe the Brady Bunch or like there's, he was an architect, right?
Yep.
So he'd have his big old drawing table but I guess that's not around anymore.
No.
It's a little sad.
I mean, still in school, I think you see drawings depending on the school.
You should probably learn the basics of it and be able to know that. So then you can translate to the digital side of things, I imagine.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to change my life, new career path. I'm going to go back to school, become an architect. And I now know it's not about drawing and geometry.
That's right.
So I might be able to get in.
Yeah.
Just on that alone. Without a lot of other knowledge. And I can name several shapes. That might be helpful.
And you're in a space.
That's true. I'm in a space. Be like, right now, we're in a space.
That's right.
And I'm picturing.
Yep. 6 sides.
Oh, there you go. There you go. They're going to love me over there. All right. That last category, Tarrah, I asked you about. So I noticed doing a little digging on social media, you have some fantastic costumes that you have worn. Like just the detail and the commitment, which I love. I think in my head, I've always wanted to be someone who actually tries at Halloween. And I haven't been able to do that successfully yet as an adult. And every year, October comes up, then it passes by, and I'm like, what have I done? I missed out. So tell me, are fantastic, incredible costumes a passion of yours?
Yes. I started caring after college. And I go all in. And a lot of my inspiration comes from, I'll go to a few select stores on Melrose and just the secondhand stores and just comb through like, Betsy, I found this beautiful blue full-length dress with ruffles. And I was like, Betsy Ross.
Oh, yeah.
And it had little white stars on it. I was like, oh my God.
That's perfect
so
for her.
Perfect. It was like easy. This year I was a little Bo Peep, and I had that dress for many years, at least 5 years. It was a PCE dress. And I was thinking Little Bo Peep, but I let it marinate to see if anything else came.
Yeah, get a spin on it.
And I was a little bit, I thought it would kind of fall flat and be underwhelming. So I bought, the life-size sheep and the staff. And I ended up, I think, making it work.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But yeah, go big or go home, right?
Go big or go home.
Totally.
Go big or go home. That's some good advice. Go home. And you know what? I hope, I'm going to make a promise to you right now. This year for Halloween, I need to go big or go home. And if I don't, I'll give you $5.
Well, you have a warm-up opportunity.
Okay, that's true.
This, this coming week, we have a big holiday approaching, and I'm from Boston.
St. Patty's.
That's right.
Yes.
I hope you know the date.
17th.
Thank you.
I got some Irish in me. Yeah.
So you have the opportunity to go big or go home.
That's true. Okay.
Also on St. Patrick's
Okay.
Day.
I wear my green a little
in
early.
Preparation. I love that.
It's a nice little stretch, a little warm up. Okay. I gotta be ready for that. I've been bad about representing my Irish heritage.
Wonderful hat options out there in the universe.
True. There's some fun ones.
Yeah.
I've got some time. What's today? The 8th? Oh, I've got time.
Totally.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that warning because I forgot it was coming up. All right, Tarrah. Well, thank you for jumping into those categories with me. Well, we got to talk some improv. That's why we're here, right? This is improv for the podcast, not costume for the podcast. Although I would be very interested to ask you so many more questions, maybe off air. But I want to get to talking about kind of how you got your start doing improv, learning what it was. So Tarrah, in your life, when was the first time you learned about improv? Maybe saw it, you heard it, I don't know, somewhere, read it in a book, television, something. When was that for you?
I didn't really know, I thought Whose Line Was It Anyway was funny, but I didn't know that was improv.
Yeah.
I have a friend, Colleen, and a fellow IFTPer.
Shout out Colleen.
She said that she was interested in, she's an architect also, but is in lighting design. And she said that she wanted to get more comfortable just talking in networking situations. And she was thinking about doing Toastmasters, but she decided to do improv because that was actually fun.
Sorry, Dad. My dad's a Toastmaster.
Is he? Oh, that's funny. So, you know, she started doing it and I was asking her about it and she said, you should totally do it. You would love it. And I went to one of her shows and I was like, oh yeah, this is like, that looks really fun. And whenever Matt was the host and he was like, I need a volunteer. And I was like, oh, pick me.
You're like, I'm in.
I'll go up on stage and do it. So yeah, that was, and then, you know, it took me a few months to sign up, but yeah, it was just like, it was so fun to be in this creative art that really, to be good at it, you just have to show up, you know, and being present is the number one requirement, right? I didn't have to study. I didn't have to memorize lines. I didn't have to prepare a presentation. It was just show up and be there and be all there. And I just love that about improv.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's one of the few art forms, I think. Yeah, it's just be you, show up. And like no lines, no materials you got to bring.
In fact, if you do, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. The more you bring into a scene, the worse it's going to be. Yeah. That's a good point. Okay. So I want to rewind real quick. So were you at all like growing up, like maybe in school, like high school or college, were you interested in performing at all? Did you do theater or music or dance or another art form?
I definitely prioritized sports. So theater, I mean, I would do some performances, but I wasn't too much into being in the front of this on stage or anything like that. High school was kind of rough. I was just very insecure and unsure of myself. Even in college a little bit. And once I graduated, I went to grad school and I had this trip, and it seems like silly, but it was a 5-week trip to Tanzania to study urban design. And I was at kind of a low point in my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had just graduated from USC. It was very difficult. And I was unsure of myself. And when I went to Tanzania, I didn't know anybody. I was with a group of American students and a group of students in Tanzania. And I realized that if I'm myself, people will still like me. And it was this fundamental realization that really affected the rest of my life. Wow. And then it was like, wow, I can just be myself. And if I want to have a weird Halloween costume, like that's cool.
Do it.
And
that's awesome.
And so then that level of confidence with just being in my own skin and, you know, professionally and as a coach, it just all kind of evolved. But I feel like that was the starting point that got me to be in a comfort level where I could do an improv show or have the comfort level with, you know, making a complete idiot out of myself in front of a group of people.
Yeah, we do it every week.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, so it's like that trip, you kind of found yourself and it unlocked all these different things for you. And I guess since that trip, you've seen in different ways in your life that's made an impact. You're like, oh, now at work, I'm me. Now in my extracurriculars, I'm me. Like me is great. And that's all I need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think a trip like that definitely sounds like a great opportunity. You know, like we've all had moments in life where we're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can relate to that very much. And sometimes just getting out of your regular, getting out of whatever funk you're in can just give you some perspective.
Yeah.
So shout out Tanzania.
Yeah.
If you're lost, go to Tanzania. Would you say that's a good plan?
Yeah,
okay,
totally.
Great.
Yeah.
I've never been there, but
fabulous.
I'll pull up a travel app like when we're finished and maybe book a flight.
Yes.
All right. I really like that. So when you You came back from that trip. You're just like, boom, hit the ground running. You're like, Halloween costume, killing it at my job. In a little bit, I'm going to do some improv.
Well, I had just, I was asked, it was a Fulbright program, and I was asked to join it maybe 2 weeks after I had accepted my first job, which is also my current job.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And I had to call the owner of the firm, Barbara, and say, hey, like, I know I'm starting on June 1st, but on June 25th, can I leave for 5 weeks?
Oh my gosh.
And she said, yes. Oh my gosh, what a great opportunity.
That's a good sign.
You should go.
Green flag. Yeah.
Totally. And also the sign that was the right firm for me, right? Because she cared about me. It wasn't just like, oh, you can't work for 5 weeks. And so I worked for almost a month, but I remember, Allison, if you listen to this, I'm sorry. I do love you. She was my first project manager, and she had me doing elevations of these bungalows. And I was sitting at my desk, and I was like, wow, so this is going to be it for the next 40 years. That's my life. And it was very hard.
Yeah, that's hard to embrace.
And I was just kind of like having this meltdown of joining, the workforce era in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so taking that break and coming back was, it was definitely a new perspective. Yeah. And I didn't feel like that anymore. Good, I was excited about my profession and moving forward.
Yeah, I've had days like that where you're just like sitting there and you're like, am I going to be doing the same thing like
this is it.
10, 20 years from now, even longer? Like I'm going to be typing away at this spreadsheet or like whatever it is. You're like, oh my gosh. So I'm glad you're able, like not like pretty early on in your career, you were able to get a moment of like, okay, no, there's more to life than this.
Yes.
To me drawing bungalows or whatever.
Totally.
That's fantastic. Okay. So Tanzania. Okay. Important trip. Anchor moment in your life.
Yep.
So flash forward. You have a friend, Colleen. She's doing improv here at Improv for the People. And she invites you to some shows. Was that your first time at like a comedy or improv show before?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I had seen stand-up comedy, but not improv.
Okay. So what was if you can think back to that first show you went to, you're like, okay, I guess coming to see Colleen, I guess, and at this dusty, crusty theater. Yep. What were your first impressions just coming into the space, seeing those IFTPers get up on stage, watching your friend be hopefully hilarious?
It looked fun. It looked so fun to just be up there. And I never got the vibe of like trying to be funny. Like nobody seemed like they were trying to be funny. They were just trying to be authentic, right? Yeah. And I loved that. I loved the spontaneity of it. And how trying not to be funny actually is hysterical. Yeah. Like that just, it was, I mean, IFTP had me at hello.
IFTP had you at hello. All right. So you go to a show, you go to maybe a few more shows over the next few months, and you found yourself starting to be like, wait a second, I can do this too.
I thought that from the first show.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was hooked from the first show.
Yeah, it was just, you needed to warm up a little bit. And then...
I was just like, I want to do this. This is so fun. Yeah.
Okay, so you sign up for a class. Was Matt your first teacher here at IFTP? Okay, yeah. And what was that first class like for you?
I think the first class is probably similar to any class now. You kind of, you go in and you're like, I don't know where I'm going to get, like, where am I going to get any ideas, or what am I going to say, or what am I going to do? But you kind of just trust it, right? Yeah. Like, well, I'm showing up. That's what you're getting from me. I'm going to walk in. And like, I really like the warm up question that Matt does that just kind of gets you. He always says, hands on your lap, uncross your legs. And, and it's a nice, just like, okay, work's over. You're here. Like, let's just be here.
Yeah. It gets you set at focus.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember thinking a similar thing in my first class here. I was like, whoa. This is nice. I like this. Everybody breathes, let out that sound.
Totally.
Some people go really hard on that.
Yeah.
And then you're locked in. You get a question of the day, and then you take class from there. Oh, love it. I like that you just kind of jumped in head first. You're like, Colleen can do this. Watch me.
Yeah.
I've been to Tanzania. and then you went right into it.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's, I think that I started coaching before I started improv. So being in a group and kind of putting ideas out there and, being the loud voice in the room was something that I was used to. So in that sense, it wasn't something that was able to bring me out of my shell because I was already kind of out there.
Yeah.
But the connection with people was the surprising part of it for me. Like being able to be in a scene where it's, nothing normal. You're having a conversation with somebody, but you're completely connected with them over, the barbecue fries that you're eating on Mars or whatever it is. But to connect with somebody in a scene that was something that I wasn't expecting out of it.
Yeah. You just think it's like, oh, they get up there and I don't know, they be funny. But then you find like that funny comes from the connection the two improvisers share. And it just goes from there. So that was, something you learned early on. Were there, in your overall improv experience, what are some exercises that you enjoy?
I actually just brought to my team because we had a moment where I had to fill time and we did the rap battle.
Oh yeah.
The bom deesh badam deesh, and then I love that. How much they loved it made me love it more.
Yeah.
That's one. I really love Translator and the telenovela. I just can't get enough of telenovela.
Those are all good ones. All good ones. The rap battle in particular. Translator, I find challenging. So that I'm upset at that particular exercise. But that's because I'm like, oh, it's tough.
Well, any language that you give me all sounds the same. I can't tailor it to any country.
Yeah. I feel like I can maybe like make German, sound like a messy attempt at it. And then, but I only speak English. I'm not very talented on that front. So I feel that. Yeah, I'm kind of a one language guy.
Yep, I hear you.
All right. So during your time at IFTP, right? So you started taking these classes. What were some things or some maybe lessons you learned early on while you were there taking these classes?
To how to connect. So eye contact, not to think. This is actually something that I think is important in the real world, critical in the real world, is when someone's talking to you, not to think about what you're going to respond until they're done talking. Which is kind of funny because the last question that you asked, I was thinking, does the camera angle show my boots? And then you asked, a question and I was like, wow, I totally wasn't listening to that, which is so unlike me. But yeah, the listening without an agenda was definitely something that was that I learned. And then the yes and just being able to validate and taking care of your scene partner. I love that part, right? Because whatever I throw out there, like or whatever someone else throws out there. My job is to make that like, of course, like validate it completely and be all in on whatever that information is. And I think that might be my favorite part of improv is just to take like the weirdest thing and make it normal.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. It becomes your job in that moment, in that scene. And when else do you get to do that?
Yeah.
I want to touch back on something you said, the active listening, right? Or listening without an agenda. It's something that is so hard to do. I even, after you made that comment about the boots, I found myself, so I'm like, what am I going to ask next? But I'm like, no, just focus on this and the questions will come.
Right.
You catch yourself. And I think that's something that is a good lesson, both like for improv as well as outside
life,
in work,
yeah,
in just talking with friends or family or loved ones. Like, oh my gosh, like having a conversation just for the sake of hearing, not asking.
Yep.
Yeah, or like not asking questions where you're like, okay, now ask me the same question so I can answer it. Because that's what I was trying to get to.
Right. Especially in a leadership role, and we're mentoring staff and young architects, and if they have a challenge, you have to hear them out on the whole challenge, and you can't problem solve until you kind of dig in a little bit deeper and get more into what's going on. And so if you just, this is an issue about X and I'm just going to go into how to solve X.
Yeah.
You won't get into maybe the root of what the discussion is about.
That's a good point. Yeah. It's like not taking over the conversation and solving things for them. It's like asking questions to kind of help guide them, and instead of just being like, oh, here's the answer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We had a corporate psychologist talk to the leadership team at our office, and I'm an extrovert, and so I like to talk a lot, but his suggestion to me was to end whatever I said with, what do you think? Oh. And I was like, oh, that's great. And I find myself doing it all the time, and I'll, maybe word vomit. I don't know. I'll say a bunch of stuff, and then it'll be kind of silent. And then I'll say, well, what do you think?
Yeah.
So
I want to try that.
Yeah.
I'll try that at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have similar scenarios where I work in IT. So, a lot of problem solving scenarios. And sometimes I'm the one asking other people questions of like, hey, what would you do with this? But sometimes people are asking me questions too. And I think that's an opportunity to let that other person speak through it first. And even struggle a little bit with it, because that's the whole point of the job before we go to Google or whatever. But don't tell anyone that, by the way.
I won't.
I think most IT people just search things up on Google.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
They don't. Not yet, at least. Yeah. All right. So you're taking improv classes, and you grow. I'm sure like you have grown so much as an improviser in your skill and in your talent. Have you done any improv performances in your time here at IFTP?
PCE, pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. So what was that like, maybe your first improv show that you did?
I was very nervous. And Matt, Matt would say that the improv that we do in class is harder than the improv that we do on the stage.
I would
right?
agree.
Definitely true. But there's definitely a fear of like, what if I just blank? And we did a show, and Matt was getting suggestions from the audience about, who's a character for me to play. I forget what the game was. And someone said Donald Trump. And when they said that, anything that had to do with Donald Trump completely left my brain, except for like this, whatever, like when he would talk like that.
Yeah, just a big hands talker.
And I couldn't think of anything Donald Trump.
Oh, no.
And so I was on stage and I was like, I know that after this show, I'm going to think about all of the things that I could have done, right? But I just had to go. I mean, what's your choice, right? I just had to go with it and just capitalize on whatever this.
Just the hand gestures.
Yeah. But so like having that, I don't know, Matt would call it a happy struggle. But knowing that, okay, so if I go blank, like someone else is going to say something, my scene partners will be there. Or it will be funny that I'm just like blank. And so, it's okay.
Yeah. I kind of like the idea of like you having to play Donald Trump, but forgetting everything. That's almost more interesting, and maybe funnier because it's like, yeah, I'm this celebrity or like whoever. I don't know anything about them. So this is what I think they are.
Right.
Like, especially with, someone like Trump who's just, we've all seen it.
Yeah. The other thing is that, I was the first show that I was in, I think it was the first show. One of my coworkers, Monica, and I were in the show together. And so we told our office and we were like, you'll see both of us in the show, which is great. Like you're excited, you're bringing people to the show and you're like all into it. And then like the day before you're like, I don't want my coworkers to see me do this. Oh my God, I hope none of them can make it. Yeah. So it's that like, we're doing this.
You're like, that's a good point. My current coworkers, I have not invited them to a show.
Really?
Yeah. I could. I gotta think about it.
Yeah. And then the day before you'll be like, ooh, I don't want you to come anymore.
If they even show up. It's definitely something to think about. Oh yeah. I would be incredibly nervous too. But it went okay.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun.
Yeah. I mean, you're still working at the same place, so I think it went pretty well. Yes. Nothing changed. They can't hold it against you. That's, off the clock, outside of work. Like,
well, I do have my studio do improv sometimes, like after in our Monday morning studio meetings. So we'll do. I when we were all in the office, we're hybrid now, but when we were all in the office, we would do, what's the game where you have to say bip bippity bop or bop?
Bippity bippity bop. Yeah, bippity bippity bop.
And if there was a new person that started, we would always play bip bippity bop.
Yeah.
And so people would be like standing, face to face with someone making eye contact and going bop.
Oh my gosh.
That was fun. So, but I had one guy that worked at my office that came to me and he was like, why do we do this? He like, clearly was not interested. Oh, no. And I said, well, I can give you the medium length answer, but it's really great for connecting. It's great for collaboration, being present, great listening. Like I was just giving him the list and I knew that he wasn't really interested.
Not buying it. Yeah.
But, he was a good sport and went through the painful process.
Yeah. Sure. When, were you the person who brought improv to your office?
I would say between Monica and I, we both were like, this would be great.
Yeah.
We actually, we got a seminar accepted into the National AIA conference.
Wow. Is that Architecture Institute of America? Something like that?
American Institute of Architects.
Okay. Flip it around. Okay.
But it was the COVID year, and so the conference got canceled.
No.
But it was improv for architects, and Matt was going to do it. So we have to get that back on the schedule. We haven't tried again.
Things are a little more regular.
Yeah, but like everyone should do improv. I mean, I know that we drank the Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Every day. Yeah.
If everyone did improv, the world would be a better place.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. So when you and Monica kind of first like brought up improv and kind of brought it into your workplace, was it a challenge to get people on board to be like, all right, team, this morning we're going to play bippity bippity bop?
There was, I mean, I think everybody kind of tried to embrace it because they knew that it would be helpful in some way.
Yes.
But there's totally, I get it. There's totally fear with it. And there's some level of vulnerability that, what if I don't know what to say? Or what if no one laughs? And it's like, no, sometimes, I mean, I've done scenes in class where I'm like, wow, this is kind of dark. And like, it wasn't funny at all.
Yeah, I've had some like that. Like, yikes. Yeah.
But, so yeah, I think, and there's also, maybe a perception that improv is for extroverts or for people that want to be more extroverted.
Comedians and
But I think some of the most phenomenal improvisers that actually the one that really grilled me about it was one of the best improvisers in our studio.
That makes sense.
And so that's what I like about it is, you know, it always surprises you who will come up with like something that's super creative or super funny. And
I love that. And I think you said you end like, so you do like a Monday meeting and then you end that meeting, you do a little bit of improv.
It depends on the week. So we'll every couple months I'll try to get some sort of improv game into our studio.
Are there any like favorite exercises of the workplace crowd?
I don't know if they like Bip Bip and Bob. We did one where you were in a 2-person scene and you had to pick a line, and it was like I had everybody write insults or something on the piece of paper, and so they had to pick up the paper and like work it into the scene. That was something that was pretty advanced, I think.
Yeah, definitely. You're pushing them a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, people.
We did newscaster. That was fun. Where I had them. I had 2 people, and this was good during COVID because the people at home or the people on Zoom were the newscasters, and then they were looking at a camera view of 2 people acting out a scene.
Oh, that's perfect.
Something, right?
Yeah,
that
Zoom
they
makes
got
it better.
a photo of. And so that ended up being funny. But it's always hard, like it's always challenging, like do you make everybody do it or is it volunteer?
Yeah. That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part. I feel that. Yeah, because what's the goal? You know?
Right.
So like I was trying to like have fun, or it's just like, hey, everybody get in here, like we're team building right now. Like, you gotta do this.
I don't want a team build.
Well, too bad.
I want to do architecture.
Okay, we're building with words and thoughts and ideas.
Right. Right.
I mean, yeah, I think thinking about it, like just what you've talked about, architecture, again, my very limited knowledge from the Brady Bunch, but like the idea of collaboration, right? Working on a team, you know, building together and thinking about how you create a space. Improv is a similar way. I mean, you're doing object work and creating a space with your scene partner. You're agreeing where different things go and are located. You're building a scene together. I mean,
you're so punny.
There's a lot of crossover. I try, sometimes too hard, but it seems like, of course you would bring it into that workplace. It seems like a perfect match. And thank you for doing that. Thank you. I know if I were if I worked at your company, I would be appreciative of that. I'd be like, wow, this is really cool that my boss, my manager does this. Even if some people think it's silly, like it, just adds a little something and makes the workplace better. It's, I think, something I'm not in a managerial position at this point in my life, but if I am one day, I think that's something I'd like to do, is just be like, all right, team.
Just give it a chance.
Yeah, we're doing some improv this morning. I don't think I quite have the pull for that at this time. I could get there, but give it a little bit. So you've inspired me to seek that goal. All right. So post COVID. So you're doing an IFTP, right? COVID happens. You take a break. Naturally, a lot of us took a break from a lot of things during that time and picked up some other hobbies during that time. What was it like coming back to IFTP after the pandemic? Did you jump back in like as soon as IFTP opened? Did you wait a little bit?
I waited a little bit. I went to a show and I was like, oh, I remember this was fun.
Yeah.
I was probably more nervous coming back to IFTP than when I started.
Wow.
I felt expectations from myself. Like I had to be good at it, or
because you've done it before.
Right. And so that part, I think I put more pressure on myself. So it took a couple weeks to like lose that judgment, that self-judgment.
Kind of shake the rust off.
Yeah.
Like, okay, no, just relax.
Right.
Like, I understand that. I was in a similar situation in that coming out of the pandemic, I hadn't done improv for a little while. And then I joined IFTP and I was like, okay, I've done improv, but like, do I remember?
Right.
there was a bit of a hesitation, but I was like, I want to do this again. I'm going to go. So I can relate to that very much. So you're like, I should be good at this, right? At this point in my life.
I don't know, you might edit this out. But I had gotten my first day back, I had gotten stitches like right here. And, that day I wore like my high-waisted jeans, which was absolutely what not to wear. And I was in the class and I noticed that like the gauze was bloody. And I was like, every time I went up for a scene, I was like, oh my God, there's going to be blood all over my shirt. No. And I was just like, every scene was just me absolutely not being present. And I was just like, oh my God.
You're actively bleeding, like you're healing. Oh my gosh.
But anyway, that was the worst.
That's an amazing story. But also I can't believe like, you were recovering from something and you're like, I'm going to improv class. I'm bleeding and that won't stop me. Like, that's hardcore, Tarrah. Like,
well, I couldn't miss a class if I was available.
Yeah. Like, she may be bleeding out, but she's here with us tonight.
Right.
Tarrah!
That's right.
Thank you, everyone. That's kind of awesome. No, that's staying in. That's an awesome story. All right, Tarrah. So I want to ask kind of like a bigger picture question. What do you think has been the impact of improv in your life?
I think I'm a better leader because of improv, and mostly because I'm a better listener. And it's allowed me, interestingly enough, to drop expectations more of an outcome of a situation. I still struggle with having expectations of myself, but as far as in any situation in my life, it's about it is what it is, and I think I'm better equipped to just take things for what they are because of improv.
Yeah.
And being present for my family and my friends and my job and all of that is a lot is owed to improv.
I think just from what you said right there, I mean, the ability to take things as they are is huge in all areas of life. So that's just hearing you say that, I'm going to like lock that away and be like, okay, I'm going to remember that little nugget of wisdom right there. Yeah. And I think, yes, the importance of presence with family and friends and loved ones, that's huge too, because time is such a precious thing. And we need to be mindful of that, how it's spent and how we listen and pay attention to those finer details of other people.
And being able to think on your feet, is, I mean, as I taught a couple classes at USC, and just, in the coaching role, having a parent that wants to talk to me about playing time, like I still agonize about it. Like, what are they going to say? But I go in, and that's one where I'm like, I have to just listen to all of it. As much as I've prepared what I'm going to say, I have to hear what the issue is first before I respond. And that the improv has been critical to my ability to do that.
Yeah. And I just hearing you say that and like thinking about like putting myself in your shoes in that situation, that's a tough conversation to have, but one that I'm sure comes up just as a coach and working with students and kids, like, yeah, because it's, every parent is like, I want to see my kid out there, and you as a coach have that balance of like, I need to let people play, but we do have the objective of also winning. Like, that's a tough balance.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance. Easier in professional sports.
Yes.
But in other levels, that can be tricky. So
right.
I can see how improv and just being able to like be dynamic in the situations is helpful. All right. So I've got one more question for you, Tarrah. And then we're going to do some improv.
Okay.
Because we could talk about it all night, but we got to play a little.
Yes.
All right. So my last question for you. Taking in all your experience, your classes, your performances that you've done in improv, and looking ahead, to the next year, couple of years, do you have any goals for yourself within improv or within performing that you hope to achieve or accomplish? What's next for you?
Oh, good question. I would like to get back into doing shows.
Let's get you up there. Yeah.
I've dabbled in the thought of stand-up comedy as a branch off.
Yeah, just to try it.
Yeah, and I go back and forth. I'm not all in on it yet, but it just seems so anti-improv.
Yes, it's very different.
And everything I love about improv is not stand-up. But I love the idea of telling stories in an interesting way,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And the storytelling aspect of it, I think, appeals to me. So I'll keep that marinating in my potential future. But that's what I would think maybe is the future.
Okay. So what's going to be the name of your Netflix special? Your hour-long.
Giving a fuck.
I like that. That's a great. Oh man, I'm in. I'll listen to the album on Spotify. I'll stream it on Netflix. You got me hooked. All right, Tarrah, giving a fuck. Coming soon on Netflix. Yeah, amazing. I mean, that's a fantastic name for a stand-up special.
I had when my dad passed away 6 years ago now, and I remember the couple years after that, I just felt like I did not care about anything. Like I never cared about anything. And I would talk to my uncle, who I'm very close with, my dad's brother, and we would just be like, it would be the end of the year, and we'd be like, okay, 2019, we're going to have to give a fuck next year. And it would be our New Year's resolution.
Yeah, like we took this year off,
but it never worked.
Oh.
So that will be my.
But you mentioned
my
it,
Netflix
you said
special.
like, hey, we're going to try.
Yes.
We're going to try. And
Yes.
I think that's what it's about, right? Trying. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So 10 out of 10 Netflix special name. So I'm there. I'll stream it. I'll tell my friends. So you got at least one fan right here. All right.
Nice.
You ready to do some improv?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So, we're going to play some games.
Okay.
And these games are going to be weird. No, they're not weird. They're just, I like to try and come up with my own versions of games on the show. And I've done my best. This is now our 26th episode.
Wow,
To never
cool.
repeat a game.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. There's variations here and there. But here's what we'll do. Can you list for me some TV shows that you enjoy?
Oh, that's so embarrassing. Survivor.
Survivor, great.
The Challenge. Law and Order.
Bum, bum.
Special Victims Unit.
SVU, yeah.
What else? Judge Judy.
Yeah.
I'm wrapping up Ozark.
Ozark. Okay, that's one I need to see because I'm a big Jason Bateman fan.
And I love a Lifetime original movie.
A Lifetime original movie.
It's not a show, but
You're just ready whenever they come out.
yes.
There you go. Okay, some good choices. We're gonna pick one of those. We're gonna say, let's go Survivor.
Okay.
All right. So Tarrah, we're going to perform a scene from Survivor.
Okay.
Survivor, the TV show, is going to be our inspiration, and I'm going to preface it with, I've never actually seen the show.
Okay, so you're my co-star?
Yep, and of course I'm on it with you.
Great.
I've seen the commercials, though. I have a general idea of what's it about. So we'll do a scene based off Survivor, and I'll black us out when I think we're done.
Okay.
All right.
Do you think we're gonna have to make fire?
Kendall, look, all I know is that 24 hours ago, I was working my cubicle. And now I'm here, stuck with you, someone I barely know on an island. Probably.
I really think I think you should work on your political game, Joseph. And I'm only saying this because we're alone at the watering hole.
Yeah.
But I think you should be a little bit less transparent about who you don't like, because everyone gets a vote.
Okay. You can already tell I pretty much hate everyone, so I should.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
And, you can't pull the coconuts and throw them at people when they're not looking.
It's funny. It's funny. Kendall, come on. You laughed. I saw you laugh.
When you threw it at Danny, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
but
nailed him in the shoulder.
Yeah, he was walking around like this.
Yeah, big old lump.
Yeah, but it's if you want to make it to the merge,
I do.
Then you got to make friends with these people. And if we have to make fire, here's the thing, you got that.
Yeah, I do. I used to be an Eagle Scout, growing up. So it's I have the skills. I just need to adjust my attitude, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good call. Thank you, Kendall.
It's going to make it. Yeah. I'll vote for you.
Hey, I'll vote for you too.
Well, I guess I'll vote for you at the end for you to win.
Okay. Yeah.
I won't vote for you.
Exactly. No. We got to be on the same side.
Yeah.
You're really nice. I haven't really liked anyone else that I met, you, Danny especially. That's why I nailed him with that coconut. But on the down low, since it's just us here at the watering hole, at the old WH, do you want to call a truce? Kind of help each other out until we get to the end.
You're the person that I trust more than anybody here.
We can clan up.
Yeah. I think our next vote's got to be Danny, and then I think we're good.
Yeah. Once we get Danny out of here, there's no one that really intimidates me.
Yeah.
Except for you, but we have a truce, so.
And then we'll just battle it out till the end, right?
Yeah. Let the best person win.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be you than, one of those other schlubs out there.
I agree. So many schlubs.
Okay. Yeah. I can't even begin to start. Thank you, Kendall. You really seem to have a lock on the format of this show. I'm going to be honest. When I applied, I didn't really know much, and I did the auditions, and I was just kind of had a mindset of yeah, why not? I didn't really know what I was getting into. So it's gonna be good to have someone who, your shit.
Hold on a second. So you didn't watch season 10 and the Cook Islands and season 13 and Belize?
No.
Season 23 and the Galapagos Islands? Ozzy and...
What?
And Brendan and... You don't know Boston Rob? Nobody?
No, I thought this was a new reality show.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if we...
I thought this was a spinoff of Love Island or something.
Oh God. I can't be your ride or die, man.
What?
No.
Kendall, we touched glasses. Hey.
I can't do it. You're off the island, bro.
I'm off. Kendall, We just had a moment. I just bore my soul to you.
You don't know anything about Survivor. You're dead weight.
So this is how it's going to be. All right, well, watch your back, Kendall.
Watch your back,
I throw a pretty
Joseph.
Mean cocoa nut. Blackout.
Cocoa nut.
Cocoa nut. Yeah. Oh man, that's true to form. I would lose if I were on that show. Like just me as I am, I'd get destroyed. But I feel like you might be good to go. How are your nature skills?
The cold rain. I couldn't do that cold rain.
We've had some practice though lately here.
That's true. Yes. I know. I brought my parka, my ski jacket that I've been wearing.
Next time it rains, don't bring it, and just be like, "I'm training.
I'm on Survivor.
I'm training." Yeah.
Cast me.
You never know. Yeah, just think of it.
We're in LA. The producers are walking around everywhere.
Just run into them at like Starbucks or something. Like I'm sure they'll see. Like if you walk by a Starbucks, it's raining and you don't have a jacket on, there's like a 50-50 chance you get cast in the next season of Survivor. 100%. Because they'll just look outside and be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I would love to be on The Amazing Race.
That's a cool show, again, that I haven't seen, but I generally know the idea.
Yeah. I would like to walk by a casting director for The Amazing Race.
Yeah. I mean, you get to travel, you get to like solve puzzles, and it's you pair up.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, makes it more fun.
The eating. The eating is the hard one. Like you have to eat like chicken feet or eyeballs or something.
Yeah, I don't know that chicken are known for their feet. I haven't tried it.
Maybe they're like chicharrones.
Oh, that's true. Those are pretty good. So I mean, yeah, if you fry it up, how bad can it be?
Right.
Just giving a little chicken toes, a little toenail for the crunch. I don't know. Chickens have those.
That's what I would tell myself.
Yeah.
But
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, if you're in it to win it, make it happen, right?
I guess.
Make it happen. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our next game, Tarrah. All right. So for this next game, we're going to be playing out a little scenario. This is called Welcome to Our Planet. And in this game, you're the president of the United States. Congratulations. Congratulations, President. We'll figure out your name once the scene starts. And in this scene, you're welcoming me, the first space alien to Earth. So this is a big pivotal moment in our history as a nation.
Okay.
So that's all you're gonna get. And again, I'll black us out when we're done.
Welcome.
Sorry, I'm just adjusting my translator. I can understand you.
Oh, great. Because I don't speak Flogio. I don't speak Flogio.
You read the side of the ship. Yeah, it says Flogio on there. That's where we're from.
Wow, you're so fluent.
Well, we've been studying your planet for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're so knowledgeable. I mean, I can just tell. Wow. So the way that your 4 arms.
Yeah.
How does that work for feeding?
Oh, absolutely. Well, one great thing about being a Flogian, right, is having 4 arms. It's a great feature. We feel bad for you humans. We've, observing your planet, you only have 2 arms, and that really limits you. But when we're eating, it's just, you can kind of use whatever arm you have available to eat, and then use the other arms for other things, just, we're true multitaskers.
The ultimate multitaskers.
Absolutely. So I could be eating a side dish and a main dish at the same time.
Wow.
We finish our meals incredibly quickly because it's just the hand-to-mouth speed is, well, it's out of control. As soon as one hand is approaching the mouth, another hand is going away to grab more food.
Yeah.
Times 4.
Yeah, it's a constant.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I was distracted. I hope you didn't find offense to
not at all.
calling out your arms. I
understand you may have a lot of questions. Well, I'm sorry, I forgot to say, we come in peace. Obviously, we're come in peace. If we wanted to take you all over, we would have done it already. Trust me.
Oh.
Yeah, we're like way ahead of you.
Wow. Well, that's a little bit arrogant.
Well, I don't mean to be rude, but you still use gasoline for fuel.
Oh.
Childish, really.
Wow.
Amateur.
Well, I thought it was just using the resources of our lovely planet that was bestowed upon us from the universe.
Sure. I mean, our species used fossil fuels, millions of years ago. But, as soon as we discovered that our spit could be used to fuel vehicles, we've moved on to that ever since and now live in a completely clean, sustainable society.
Wow.
Have your scientists never tried to just put spit in one of your vehicles? Yep, just like that. We just pretty much spit into tanks.
We need you here.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we came down. We noticed your nation was struggling a little bit.
Please stay.
Yeah, I know you have your re-election campaign coming up. You feeling nervous?
I mean, would you join my campaign?
Absolutely. We're big fans of your work. What some of your platforms as president.
We could really move mountains. I mean, imagine, like, between the two of us, we have 6 hands.
Yeah. Well, that's just me. I have friends. I can, send them a transmission and they'll fly over.
It's so great to have one brain for 4 hands.
Yes.
You can really unite the forces, if you know
absolutely.
what I mean. You don't want too many voices in the room.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to push my luck, but could I maybe manage your campaign?
Oh my gosh. Yes, 1,000 times.
We should shake on it. I'm not sure what you did there, but I'm going to do it too.
Well, I'm harvesting my spit.
Oh, okay. I thought you were spitting in your hand to shake my hand.
Well, yes.
I saw that on one of your television shows.
I feel like when we spit together, I mean, imagine what magic will happen.
Who knows? Oh, oh my gosh. There's a raw power here in this planet.
I'm growing. I'm growing a second arm.
It worked.
What? I'm one of you.
You're one of us now.
I've never been so happy. We can
take over.
Yeah. Like, oh my God. It was because of you.
It's because of me. So remember, when you look down at your upper left hand, or your lower left hand, or your upper right hand, or your lower right hand, remember, the Florgians gave that to you. So
I will always remember, because you're staying here forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Blackout. I liked that you turned into the alien. I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yes. Spouted an arm right there.
That's incredible.
I saw it.
I know. I could see it too. You were like, I was all bought in. Honestly, okay, if you had the choice, like right now, would you, if you could have 4 arms, would you?
I would.
I think I might too.
Does everybody have 4 arms? Or am I the weirdo with 4 arms?
If you had the choice for all of humanity to choose if they had 4 arms or just 2, you would pick 4?
I would pick 4.
I think I would agree. I'm just imagining.
It wouldn't help us with the volunteering to do too many things, though.
No. But think of the high fives.
Oh, totally.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. High 10s. Just with half your body.
Sports, volleyball with 4 arms.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. Just double the hitting power, the sets, the bumps, the
blocks.
Spikes. Oh, my gosh. You'd have such a wide range.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Oh, man. You could just maybe make the team smaller because of all the arms out there.
Imagine doubles.
You bump with your upper or your lower arms, like you choose.
Or you would play singles.
Oh, play singles. That would be so good too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
We're onto something.
Yeah, we suck as we are, don't we? We need those other arms. Lame. I'm disappointed. I got to go talk to a doctor. All right. That actually segues us into our final game, Tarrah.
Okay.
In this game, we're going to be revisiting a famous moment from history. One that you may be familiar with. This game is called Living History. And in this game, we're going to reenact the first organ transplant. Now, I forgot to get a year on this, but I know it happened in the 20th century, which makes sense. I feel like probably before that, we didn't know what germs were. So it kind of tracks. So you and I are going to reenact the first organ transplant.
So this is after anesthesia was invented. We don't know.
That's up to us.
Okay.
Yep.
And are we at the table? We don't know.
We'll find out.
Okay. I feel prepared.
Okay. I've looked at a lot of books. I've seen some really great drawings. I think I just need to cut in. Just to open you up.
I mean, Dr. Shinza.
Yes. Yes, Melissa.
I've always wanted a new kidney.
Yeah, I know. And we have to try.
My pee is really, really dark.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
And I know if we don't do something about it, I'm worried about your life.
Yeah. I mean,
So here's what I want you to do. Drink this shot. It's whiskey. I need you to numb the pain a little bit because we are going to cut you open.
How long does it take?
The whiskey or the cutting?
Well, my original question was about the whiskey, but that's a great thought. Did you?
It's for the nerves. I've never done this before. No one has ever done this.
I get that.
It's kind of a big deal.
When my husband drinks like that, he sometimes falls over and he can't speak clearly. And what about don't you have assistants or?
No, I asked, I've been trying to train some other townsfolk, but they think this is only God's work. But I said, no, I think God wants us to do this. So here I am.
Well, I'm starting to think that this all makes sense.
Yes, it does. All right, so...
I think, do you want me to cut me open or are you going to cut me open?
I think I'll cut you open.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Okay. Well,
I don't mind.
I appreciate the offer, but again, I am the doctor.
Yeah.
And you the patient.
Yeah.
So I think...
But,
Oh, my... Melissa! Oh, my...
That's a lot of blood, man.
Oh, my gosh. Stop. What? I mean, you did cut in the right place. I guess you feel the pain. But, okay, so what we're looking for is a kidney kind of looks like a bean.
Oh.
You might have to move some things around in there.
It's gooey.
I believe it. I've heard tales. I've cut open a cadaver before, but never a live human being.
Oh, it's connected.
Oh, I see. Yes, we have some tubes going off of it. Here, take these scissors.
Is that it?
Well, we've got to snip the old one. Great. You're doing amazing, Melissa. Let me know if you need another shot or anything. Oh. Wow, this seems pretty easy.
All right. Well, that's.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Is it in the fridge?
Well, I've got an ice box.
Oh.
Yes. I've had I have that young lad, Cornelius. He goes and cuts the blocks of ice and brings them here to the ice house, and we've kept the extra kidney in there for you. So I've actually got it right here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this, and we're gonna use a hot iron to cauterize those tubes.
Oh.
So I'm gonna hand you this. You got your kidney. Here's your hot iron. Okay. You're just gonna burn it right back in there. All right. You're doing great, Melissa. This is incredible. Simply incredible. Medical science is going to change forever.
I think I need more whiskey.
Absolutely. Another shot coming up. Here.
Whew. It burns.
It should.
It burns.
Oh my gosh.
Do I just iron my skin back together too?
Sure. Yeah, that'll help kind of just fold it back. Oh my gosh.
Steam feature.
Of course. Yes. You poured some water on there and then you steamed it with the hot iron.
Yes, the first steam iron. This would do great on clothes.
Commercially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a real market for it. Yeah. Melissa, I need to tell you something. You came into this room, I the doctor, you the patient, but after what I've just witnessed, you just performed a surgery upon yourself. You're more of a doctor than I could ever be.
Would you like to start a practice?
I would love to work for you.
Wow. I would love that.
I want you to have my medical license. Here, take it. We'll write your name on there.
Yeah.
Melissa Calloway. Doctor.
It'll be there forever.
It sure will. Wow. You're an incredible woman.
I can't wait to pee clear.
Blackout. Wow. During that whole scene, I was thinking, in movies when they have like scenes where characters do surgery, like either on themselves or, whenever, I can't stand those scenes. I can't watch them. Like other like battle violence I can handle, but the self-surgery or any sort of surgery scenes, can't do it. Can't do it. I'm like, ugh. I don't know. What's your thought on that? Can you handle it?
I don't mind it. I'm always kind of fascinated by like, how do they make it look so real?
Yeah.
And the whole theory that it's ketchup, is it really ketchup?
I don't think so. I think it's like a corn
it's like
syrup
fake blood.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Ketchup, no way. Ketchup's too thick, right?
Right.
Maybe watered down, but
right.
I don't know.
But I mean, sometimes like it looks like there's really a hole in the middle of their head.
Yeah.
Like
some of the
how
makeup
do they
work.
do that?
I don't know. Maybe they really do the injury and then just help the actor after they shoot. So some actors have sustained dozens upon dozens of injuries over the years.
What I was thinking about during the scene when I had shoulder surgery, and I was in the waiting room and I was freaking out.
Yeah.
And the doctor came in and I was still in the waiting room and he just walked in jeans with a coffee. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
Shouldn't he be studying or like looking at my chart?
Suited
or
up.
At least wearing a lab coat or like
stethoscope.
And why is he drinking coffee?
Oh my gosh.
I was like freaking out.
Yeah. You're like, this all seems wrong.
And then he came in and he was like, I'm excited to tell you this is my first shoulder surgery. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
He said, no, I've done about 20,000 of them. And then he laughed. Yeah, 20. I did the math. It's like 50 a week it was like 20 a week for, anyway. I did the math, insane. But it made me feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, what if he's done too many?
But the first surgery brought me back to that moment.
Yeah.
I pictured you in jeans.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Probably that one. That's possible, back in whatever, 19.
Right.
Whenever that was. Yeah, Levi's were a big deal.
I did like the iron solderizing. Soldering?
Soldering. Yeah. Soldering. Cauterize. There you go.
Cauterizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was mixing some inappropriate words in there.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, maybe that's how they did it. Again, I literally looked up a list of historical events, didn't get any context, and just said that one. And then
Nice. Yeah. I will now look it up and see what it really was.
I mean, you lived it, so I don't think you have to.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Melissa Calloway.
It's there forever.
Yeah, it's there forever on your body. All right, Tarrah, before we close out on this episode, I want to give you the opportunity. Any final words on improv, on life, or on anything that you want to leave us with tonight?
Wow. That's a lot.
It is a lot. Leave it wide open.
We are all works in progress. And I think improv acknowledges and celebrates that. And I think that's, I don't know, it just applies to so many aspects of life. And that's what, I don't know. That's what popped into my head.
Beautiful. Beautiful. No, I love it. We're all works in progress. Take that, write it down, tattoo it on your forehead, just put it out there. That's going to be, let's quote that, minted right there. Well, thank you so much, Tarrah Beebe, for joining us tonight on Improv for the Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please check out our others. We're streaming now on all platforms. We got a video on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, we're there. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye. Improv for the Podcast was created by Matt Moore and Michael Lee Evans. Edited and produced by Michael Lee Evans. And finally, presented by Improv for the People. Interested in more IFTP? You can visit us at improvforthepeople.com or on our socials, such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember, new episodes are released weekly. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.